and like, I don't know, it was just so interesting because I did, like, there's that, I mean, again, that artistic, doing that, like, that artistic direction role, I actually feel like is really, like, again, has this huge overlap with criticism because, you know, because you're trying to figure out, like, how to give somebody, I mean, criticism goes further in terms of a judgment call, but like you're trying to figure out like how to look at an aesthetic that might be like not yours at all and be like, what could still be stronger inside of your, like, the way that you see the world, like inside of the logic that you've built, which is like not my logic, you know, what could work better than it's working right now. That's like a tricky thing to do, I think. And I think there's a lot, I mean, I've had plenty of experiences where, and this is again the sort of internal barometer thing, you know, where like some of the feedback I've gotten from an artistic director or a person like that has been like, yes, that's great, that's so useful, and some of it has been like, well, you did this thing that's pink, and I just really like green, you know, and you're like, well, like, it's pink, you know, so I don't know, you know, like, that's probably just, that's always like inevitable to a certain extent, just like, I don't know, I'm sorry, I feel like I've gone off.
No, not at all.
Task, but, but this, yeah, like, and in, like, this idea of, like, if people were gonna participate in this thing that you're doing, and we're gonna, like, do a certain amount of work on X piece that they're working on, and then we're gonna, like, share it, I mean, I don't know, maybe an interesting thing would be for, like, that person, I mean, I guess those, you know, 29-hour reading type things are always kind of invited, you know, like, people can always, I honestly haven't been to that many of them, but it seems like people sort of invite humans that they know or care about or whatever, I don't know, but maybe if it's like there's an encouragement, or like if the organization has an ability to reach out to, like, well, I mean, it feels weird to say like people like me, but it's like, you know, but actually, you know, if it's like somebody's doing something and they're interested in having, like, you know, it's like maybe they don't know me, but they've like read my stuff and they like think it's not terrible or whatever, you know, and you're like, well, like, we, you know, like, I don't, yeah, like, you know, like, well, when you show, like, do you, like, we could invite that person and like have them be a part of the feedback session, which, you know, who know, I don't know how that, you know, who facilitates that session or exactly how it looks or whatever, but it's like that, I mean, I went to a 29-hour showing thing last year, and one of the guys I went to school with, and like, honestly, like, they did actually solicit feedback, but it was like, we would love to hear what you think about the piece, like, email us, and I was like, nobody's gonna do that, you know, like, no one has the time, maybe, like, you know, and so yeah, so, and I also think that they had most, like, I was looking around the room and I was like, I think that the people you have in this room watching you are, like, essentially friends that you are supporters, which is like, that's great, and maybe also, you know, I don't know, like, maybe, I don't know. I had a reading recently with a friend of like a new translation of The Seagull that this guy did that we were trying to like work on a little bit. And it wasn't I mean, like, we just got a group of actors together to read it. This was not like a let's critique the translation, but like, you know, I wouldn't have been sad if like some stuff came out of it. But then it was very interesting because we, like, you know, everybody read it and it was fun. And then I like realized how, I mean, I love all these people dearly, but I realized how prone actors are to just being like fonts of like sort of like just like positivity that like ranges from like very like from smart to meaningless, you know, like because there was no, you know, just, oh my god, I loved this part. Oh my god,
no one wants to lose the job.
Yeah, exactly. Like this part was great, you know. And it was just like, okay, so like this is not like it's not a like this is you have to function in this mode sort of to survive, you know, like so it's like if we really want to hear about what could be better in the translation, like we need a different group of people in the room. So I don't know, maybe it's like, it sounds like it could be cool. It could be cool for like you as the artistic director of this new initiative, project, whatever, to like be a part of facilitating who that group is that comes, and like not that, I mean, I don't know, you know, not that it has to be just like full of random critics or something, but even like, you know, one or two people, I mean, dramaturgs. It's like the city is full of like fucking wild, you know, dramaturgs in the wild or whatever, you know, who I don't know what they're doing. You know, I don't know, it's like, it strikes me that like, that could be really interesting because like it might even, it's like that could weirdly in certain situations even end up being a kind of blind date type of thing, right? It's like maybe somebody actually like meets a dramaturg or something at one of those things, you know, or like ends up like finding a sort of a collaboration. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I'd be really excited by that because I feel like, again, the conventional way that a lot of these 29-hour workshops work is like there's no, or I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't perceive there to be any sort of like, it doesn't seem to have the like facilitator angle. Like it does, you know, there's not really someone out there being like, you know, I don't know, it's like you have the space, you have the hours.
Yeah, I always find that no work's been done because
right.
all you're trying to do is get the actors good enough,
right?
So you've had no time.
Yeah,
it's the same way you've never had any time to be like,
right.
You gotta write that scene differently,
right? And the thing about and again, I think, you know, because he, you know, it comes from an utterly different tradition. Like the cool thing about seeing the Krimov thing yesterday is that, like, I mean, he didn't concentrate on acting at all, you know, like because he is who he is and he's not an American director and he's like, I am testing out my idea right now.
What is that? Can you say more about that?
Yeah, so are you familiar? Okay, so basically he's so his name's Dmitry Krimov. He is he's a director who has a theater in Moscow. It's really interesting actually because he's literally the product of a director and a critic. His dad, Anatoly Apros, was like this huge director in like the thaw period, and his mom, Natalia, I think,
sure.
I can't remember, was like the leading drama critic in like the 60s in Russia. He is an amazing director and came to directing through design, like as did a lot of his dad's scenic designs, and then decided like fuck theater and went to be a painter for like many years, and then like only in like middle age, like I think he was, you know, in his like late 40s, he was like, just kidding, I want to be a director, I'm going to do Hamlet right now, and sort of burst back onto the scene in Moscow as like this. And for a while he didn't even work with actors. Like he was teaching a course on design at Gitas, and he was like, well, the only way to learn how to design for the stage is to do plays, so like all of you my young designers are just going to do these weird plays with me. And then people were like, what the fuck is this? And like now he's kind of expanded to being more interested in acting technique, big interesting actors work with him. But like there is a play that like is still in the rep over there at his theater, which is like this beautiful play that's essentially just that's like watching weird, scrappy, handmade sceneography unfold in front of you, like, and all of his stuff is like that. I mean, I visited his theater, and it's all there are rolls of brown paper that are 6 feet in diameter, and like, you know, everything is like the sort of most basic materials used in these like really sort of incredible, like created and destroyed in front of your face on stage type of ways. And it's all like, I mean, he's you know, like it's all him. It's all like his grand vision in the sort of European and Russian tradition. And so, and now the reason that he's here at all is